Okay, I'll call Woodman Hills Metropolitan District regular board meeting for Thursday, June 26th to order at 5:50. Apologize for the tardiness. And roll call, item 2.
Bill Sarah's present. Stacy Popovich present.
Troy Stinson present, and via phone. Sanford, can you hear us?
He's frozen.
It's frozen in time.
Sanford, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Sanford's present and Wayne had to go out on a call. And I will motion that we excuse him since it was an emergency call. He was here. He intended to be here.
I'll make a motion to excuse Wayne's absence. Second.
And a second by Kelsey. Any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 3, director disclosures.
No additional disclosures.
Okay. Item 4, approval or disapproval of this agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended with adding the 3 items inside the water report.
And those 3 items will be the ICA with Vivid, it's Vivid? Is that
Yeah,
right?
it is
Vivid
Vivid.
Engineering, right-of-way agreement, and haul road agreement. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kelsey. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. President's welcome. Vice President's welcome. Secretary's welcome. And those of you that watch from home, thank you for watching. I do look on there and see that folks do we average about 25 people watching every month, so it's pretty good. Someone will lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we do have the 4th of July coming up, so please, Woodland Hills, be safe with the fireworks. Don't burn us down. Sounds like we're getting ready to have a spike in wildfires anyway, which is amazing the amount of rain we've gotten. All right, item 6, public comment regarding current board business not on the agenda. Nothing?
That's you.
Okay, no public comment. Item 7, consent agenda. Items listed below are a group of items to be acted on by a single motion or vote by the board. An item may be removed from the consent agenda to the regular agenda by any board member. Items on the consent agenda are then voted on by a single motion, second, and vote by the board. There are 2 items on this month's consent agenda. That's item A, approval of the May financials, and item B, approval of May 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes. Did anyone need either one of those removed from the consent agenda?
No.
Any discussion on either one of those 2 items?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
I have a motion by Stacy to approve and a second by Kelsey. Without any other discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Sanford's an aye. Motion carries. All right, item 8 is discussion on Parks and Rec Director hiring process. If the public missed it, our Park and Rec Director resigned as of the 30th of May. Was it the 31st?
His last day was the last day of May.
Was the last day of May. He is the new Park and Rec, or they call it director up
Yeah.
there?
Director of Parks and
At
Recreation.
Castle Pines, I think they combined 8 different districts up there to form one recreation district with Castle Pines, Colorado. And so he is probably the perfect person for that job, really. Hated to see him go, but they are in the process of going through applicants now to provide the board with some applicants for review.
So, for the public and for the board, the way this process has gone is we put out the notice on Indeed, we put it on our website, we put it out on the CPRA, so that's Colorado Parks and Recreation Association website. And we opened it for 2 weeks, got a bunch of candidates, through all of those, a lot of qualified ones. We then whittled it down to the top candidates that we wanted to do the first round interview with, so we whittled it down to 3. So we started with, over 30 and got it down to 3. And so the internal directors or operational directors, as well as Marcus, the former Parks and Rec director, interviewed the 3 candidates. And then we selected 2 candidates to go on to a second round interview that we actually did as a Parks and Rec panel discussion with the Parks and Rec management staff. So they spent an hour touring the community, the facilities, and then about another hour actually having a discussion with the management staff. So it was a great opportunity for Stephanie and Craig and Will to get out there. What do they do for the community and what do they provide, but then also give the candidates a real understanding of what this job entails, right? It's not just about facilities, it's not just about pools, it's not just about parks, it's a lot that goes into this role. So wanted them to really feel comfortable about what they'd be stepping into. So those have been complete, those are actually done this week, on Monday and Tuesday. And so we have now moved the 2 candidates through to the board of directors. For the hiring committee, whoever is going to be on that hiring committee, we'll get to that once we get to item 9 on the agenda. And so these are the 2 applicants in your board packet. The first one we will call candidate A, the second one we will call candidate B. Any questions from the board so far about what we have done process-wise? Good? Okay. So I will ask my peers here to step in and give some feedback as well. So our candidate A has a very robust resume in terms of competitive swimming. So very, very high level, we're talking Olympic level swimming, coaching, administration. I mean, it's the highest level that you can get to. Also has lots of great experience running businesses and organizations. So setting up business plans, setting up budgets, getting funding opportunities. I'm just gonna give my kind of pros and cons, and you guys can throw it in here, whatever you feel like. Does that make sense? You good with that?
Well, we're gonna go with
The only, I guess, downside of candidate A that I see is his experience is not as well-rounded in Parks and Recreation. However, I feel like he is a very meticulous person and will take the time to learn. It's just a concern. Also, just looking at his resume could there be a future opportunity elsewhere that he may take? We've had discussions with the candidate about that and feel okay about where he stands. He is not going anywhere anytime soon. He made that abundantly clear to us in the interview process. So we'll turn it over to you guys.
I would say that just in his demeanor, he was very engaging with the management staff. The Park and Rec took the time to ask questions, see what their needs were. They really like that feel. So I think that's an important strong point. Again, not knowing the whole business of what it takes to be a park and rec director on the next level, I believe that he will take this, what was already established from the previous director, and he can go ahead and step forward into a role and maybe turn something really well for this district, as far as park and rec is concerned.
I remember another director that we interviewed at one time that wasn't very special district-y, and he's still here, so. Mhm.
For now.
I remember,
That's because he brings food.
That's right.
that's new,
Right.
that's new, still black
So
and
he's
white.
on thin ice?
No, what I'm saying.
Rebecca is not in color again, so.
No, what I'm saying is,
We were just joking, but yeah, we understand what you're saying.
when we sat down and did the hiring of the admin, he came with very strong qualities, not necessarily for that specific job, but he had the management styles that needed that position. Would you say that candidate A possesses those styles? He may not have the knowledge, but knowledge can be learned. But does he have like skills?
I would say, both of them, they both come to, their family's huge. They're, in Carter, they got a football team, so. But, this guy emphasized a lot more about, how engaging he is with his kids and understanding, like, the things his kids like to see for activities, where the candidate B didn't really go into that. So I think candidate A is more open and understanding to outside the pool and the actual facilities, making use of the open space and getting more engagement with the community.
Okay.
That was one of those questions that we asked him during the interview.
And during the round table, candidate A, his questions were all non-pool related. So
Okay.
if that gives you any indication
It
of what
does.
he's thinking about, is not about pools.
It's not television.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything you wanna add?
No esports.
How does he feel about hockey rinks and hot tubs?
Are you being serious, or are you asking?
Oh, actually, I'm being very serious.
I'm being very serious. as well.
So, obviously we talked a lot about like, hey, the future, right? What is you have this master plan, right, foundation, but that's just a piece of the puzzle. And now you gotta put it into practice. Candidate A, with his experience building something from scratch, obviously knows how to do it.
Okay.
Candidate B, while has a lot of varied experience in social district, in and out of social district, in and out of recreation, has not built something from scratch like that. So capable, yes, but has not shown the ability to do so.
I think that's all I have for candidate A. I asked you my other questions.
Is there an awareness because I'm looking at candidate A's resume, where does he live?
Colorado Springs.
I'm sorry?
Colorado Springs.
Okay, Colorado. Because candidate B, again, it's not clear these days where candidate B lives. I just want to make sure, because I presume this is not a remote position, that we want to make sure that they are within a commutable distance of the area.
Both candidates do live in Colorado Springs, while candidate B
Okay.
does travel to the city of Golden every day for their job.
Okay.
He does
Right.
live down here in the Springs.
That's commitment.
Do we know where with candidate A, the gap, because we're showing that his current position ended, in the prior year.
Yeah,
Do we know
so
what-
candidate A, the gap there is I'm trying to think about how to phrase this without getting into details.
I would say he was a business owner, ran into some personal issues in his life, and had to make some changes.
Life
So-
happened.
He got bought out from that company, and he does have a 5-year NDA. So he cannot coach swimming within a 50-mile radius of that facility for 5 years.
I see.
candidate B. If I can find my mouse, where is it? Maybe, where did it go? Is it frozen?
Should that?
No, my mouse is here. It's weird.
Well, we have it right here.
Yeah, you guys have it in front of you. Candidate B. Oh, now it decides to push. I don't know what to do. We'll let it
Wigging out.
figure out. Wally, you wanna talk a little bit about candidate B?
So, like I said before, candidate B, as far as, probably a little more well-rounded, not specifically focused in one area, even though aquatic still was a main area for him. He has good ideas and stuff. He was big into like inclusivity on things. Overall, he'd probably make a good candidate, but my feeling is he's taking a leap from maybe a step down, skipping a step and going, it's almost like skipping from the supervisor step and going to a director. That's just my take.
My concern was that he averages about a year on the job,
There's that.
wherever he goes.
And Wally did ask them that question.
Yep. So I will give him credit. So the one that was really stood out as an oddball was a police officer.
Right.
And he actually gave probably the best explanation I've heard about why he had such a weird thing in there. It was a dream he had since he was a kid. He wanted to be a police officer. He got into it during COVID. It turned out to not be what he always dreamed it would be, and learned it wasn't for him. So he went back to what he was familiar with. So.
Okay.
Cause if you look at prior to that, he was with the organizations for 4 to 5 years at a time. So I'm less concerned about the gaps in the changing of the jobs. We, via Marcus, so this is the one thing I'm gonna miss a lot about Marcus is his network within the community. He actually worked directly with candidate B's current supervisor and knows that person very well, and so was able to get candid feedback on him. So the feedback was, can absolutely do the job. Never been in that role before, but is capable of doing it. And that you won't really know what he's made of until the opportunity presents itself. But I do agree with what Wally is saying in that it feels like our director level positions, if you were really to equate it in reality, are executive director level.
Correct.
What he's done in the past is sub-director level, right? Very specific in a very small niche, whereas the executive director is overseeing every operation within that organization, whether it's, water is treatment and distribution, wastewater is collections and treatment, right? Mine is administration and finance. So for Parks and Rec, same thing. You have maintenance, and then you have facilities, you have youth sports, you have aquatics, right? There's lots of layers. So I think that skipping the step could be problematic, and it could not, right? You never know. Going back to what you said about someone else that you guys have hired didn't have that level of experience in this field, but had the higher level management. So that's what you get with candidate A, is that higher level management, executive director level. You don't necessarily get down with D. Go ahead, Sanford.
So with candidate B, you have somebody that, it's a stretch. And so what is our capacity to provide the coaching and mentoring to elevate the skill set?
Yep, that's a really good question.
Versus candidate A, appears actually overqualified.
Right.
Well, I think to answer that, I think the difference between the two is, I think B would come in at a lower cost, but A,
Sure.
you are getting the contacts that maybe Marcus didn't have, cause this guy he knows everybody in this industry, so.
Well, he went to Singapore.
So I think the experience that A brings at a higher price point is more valuable to us than.
I just think that, with candidate A, you see more, you see this with a lot of the college athletes and the Olympians, is that they are dedicated and committed to what they sign up to do. And that's what you get with them. You get that level of commitment and dedication to what they're doing. You know, and I don't know why this guy's wanting to leave Golden. I mean, he's probably making almost as much as he would make in this job.
Oh, yeah, would you wanna drive to Golden every day from?
Right.
I think one of my main concerns for candidate B would be that he comes in not with executive staff capabilities. We overwhelm him and he would be cheaper. But then we're back here sitting here 30 days later and doing it again. So how much cheaper was he?
Well, I think the roundtable thing plays into that too.
Yeah.
Which you were,
Yep.
How did the roundtable go?
Not nearly as good as his first round interview. And
Okay.
the feedback from the Parks and Rec staff was, it felt forced. It wasn't nearly as organic as the candidate A one. The level of questions were not as detailed, and there was no personal touches. So that was something what I didn't realize that the Parks and Rec staff has now gotten accustomed to, being under Marcus, is that personal touch. Is that I care about you and your personal development, I care about your work-life balance and how can I help you? And that was really missing in candidate B. Not to say he's not capable of that or that's not who he is, it just didn't come through during the 2-hour discussion. To answer Sanford's question though, the way I put it is that candidate A is a buy, to Wally's thing. Candidate B is a grow. Now, we do have a great foundation, thankfully, by Marcus. He's set really good processes, procedures, organizational structure. So we are in an environment where we could potentially handle a grow, but I think we're probably, and Marcus agrees with me on this, I asked him about it, 2 years away from actually really being able to do that. Like, we just don't feel the here and the now is the right time for a grow.
I just think we're in that phase right now where, you know, we have Matrix on board, we have
Right.
projected, that we're gonna try to do a rec center or something with that new property we bought and stuff, so we have a lot going on in that arena right now, and I just don't think we have the space right this second to develop somebody.
For a grow.
You know, I'd like to say, yeah, we have that capacity right now, but we just don't. I just don't think we do.
Mhm.
I don't think it would be fair to you 3 directors either to absorb some of that position's grow as well. Because you have your,
Agreed.
I'm glad you said that, because I was
You're-
gonna make a comment along
well,
those
because
lines.
it's you have your own departments to do that. And I know exactly what that's like to work 2 full-time jobs and one of them is only yours. And I don't think that would be fair to the 3 of you. I think that the district with the matrix and everything, I think the district needs one that can come in and they can self-do things, so that way you guys can go back to doing your jobs.
So the other thing we discussed, you know, internally was the fact that this employee's gonna be coming on right at the start of budget season,
Mhm.
where, candidate A already knows all this financial stuff.
Yep.
It's just getting used to seeing our numbers, where I think for B, it's gonna be a whole new world. And it comes back to that time thing,
Well, and it's very, I mean, and sometimes even just a resume, I mean, coming from the military world and government contracting world and things before I got where I am now, this guy in this thing hits all of your bullet words that you would expect to see from somebody coming in to run an operation. And this one, you know, I don't wanna sound crass, but it looked like my kid wrote it. My college kid, trying to get his first job.
Yeah, I think there is,
And
they're
it's
both qualified, but there is a
sometimes shows a-
clear indication that one is ready to lead from day one.
And I don't know that we're in a spot to
One-
take anyone, but
wants the job,
Right.
just enough to try to get the job, is
I-
what I seen when I looked at these.
I just don't think we're in a position to take anything other than somebody who can do the job.
I would agree with that.
Amen.
Thank you for what you guys are recognizing too. That's very helpful to us, knowing that, you know, we have full plates as well and being able to take on more. As you all know, we will always do whatever's in the best interest of the district. So ultimately, you know, do have to go through the next round of interviews and see which candidate the board decides to go with. But we appreciate you guys willing to hear us out, hear out the Parks and Rec staff. We do think that this process that we put in place is really helpful, not only to us, but I think to you guys, to see that we are taking the time, the effort to vet these people for you. So it's not 100% on the board to just make that decision.
Well, at the end of the day, you have to work with them every day.
And I was just sitting here, cause I was sitting here thinking to myself when we were having that discussion about you coming on, which one of these guys was gonna handle the district's finances if you left?
Wally?
How good are your people?
Pretty good.
I'm gonna need some help.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you have the other office staff, don't leave. But
Come on.
you have like the other office staff to help.
No, you guys have all been here long enough to know what it takes for you to run your enterprise. You know, and you're right, it is almost like an executive director, you're basically running a state government, enterprise is what you're running. And so it's impressive that you have the same kind of the same, feeling when you're reviewing these resumes and things of what we need, what the district needs, what the community needs.
One thing I thought was odd about doing, you know, what do you say, 32 candidates, but almost all of them they emphasized exclusively their aquatics background. Almost like they forgot to, you know, or didn't look at our website. So that's, I guess, candidate A and B, they did both at least look at our website. I think A looked at us a little harder than B did. So at least he had a familiarity of what we have out here.
Well, I mean, all the districts that have facilities now are all, their big advertisement is the pools, the pools, the aquatics.
Marcus did say that it is not uncommon in the industry, and the reason for that is aquatics is multifaceted, right? So you have pool operations, you have aquatic staff, so you have lifeguards, and that is a lot of certification, a lot of training, and then you have programming. So aquatics by itself is a three-headed monster, and that's the reason why you see a lot of aquatics people move up into other ranks. I mean, Marcus had a extensive pool background too. So, any other questions?
Yeah, did he swim with Phelps and Lichty and them?
So he coached with Phelps's coach.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember that question after I read through it. I forgot about till just now.
The most humble guy, really,
Yeah,
you will ever have the opportunity to meet, and he could have an ego the size of this room, based off what he's done in his career.
So my next question, I think it's part of the agenda. Kelsey, did you have anything?
I was gonna ask about the other applicant, you said there were 3, and
Yeah.
we narrowed it down to 2, so
Yeah.
tell me more about this third applicant.
Where do we start?
So, I would say, I think he was farther even behind B, but he was scared shitless in that interview. He had some weird kicks that came out in him, yeah. Some answers came easy, some didn't, but, oh boy, we had, the list of questions we had for him, we had to cut short, cause he just wouldn't stop talking.
And
He just,
Yeah, I have transcripts for each one of them, so if any of the board wants to see the transcripts from the interview, you can see what we're talking about. His responses were, to put it into perspective, are very similar to like Donald Trump's weave, where he kinda goes in and out, in and out, in and out, and then kinda comes back. It was very much like that. It was very difficult to follow. Not sure if it was nerves or something else. Again, qualified from a resume perspective and from what he's done, but in terms of how to execute the objectives, that did not come through his answers and left us with a lot of questions about could this person actually sit up here with us and do the things that we have been doing, and we did not feel comfortable with that.
he didn't
So that's
present
the reason
himself in
why
a way
we
that I think public interaction would work well with him either.
Oh,
That's the biggest part of their job.
I was
is
gonna say,
They
that's
are
not gonna work.
technically
Right.
the face of the district, even though you guys are the backbone of the
But
district.
they see the
They
people
see the
there.
park and rec piece,
Yeah.
so, can this person deliver for the community? That's the.
And I think, along those lines, I think that's where A presented himself the best. But I think conflict resolution will be a lot easier for him than candidate B,
okay.
just cause he's been there, done it.
Any other questions, Kelsey?
No. No. Just leave it at no.
Item 9.
Nothing else on that? Sanford, did you have anything else?
No, nothing. Good discussion.
So where does it go from here? Does that work?
That's where we're doing 9
Oh, okay.
to figure out.
Item 9, discussion on operational director reporting structure.
I didn't quite know how to phrase this.
Well, that's why I was confused, cause I was like, I don't
So
even know what the hell.
with the new director, board directors, you guys need to be assigned to which enterprises you're gonna be on, and then that will help to find who's gonna be on that hiring committee for the Parks and Rec director.
That also stretches the committees, the budgeting committee,
Yep.
I'll stay where I was.
You run water and sewer,
Water,
right?
Water and
water,
sewer.
wastewater.
I'm indifferent. I'll try something new, or I'll stay with the same as I am.
Which ones do you have currently?
I have Carter and Lauren.
Carter and Lauren. So, should we all stay the same? I will take Park and Rec, which would be now, and Carter. And then that would leave Wayne and Sanford to each do one?
So you need one for water
Who's the two on
and
Parks
one
and
for
Rec?
Parks and Rec.
So you want
Sanford, what do you wanna do?
I mean, I'm flexible. I mean, Parks and Rec is fine, if that's an option.
Okay, so if you do Park
So
and
if
Rec.
he takes Parks and Rec, then Wayne will take water.
so that's what they do and
Stuck with us.
you said she didn't want.
Right. So,
Whatever. It'll be fine.
so that helps. 2 questions I have. One, hiring committee for Parks and Rec, do you want it to just be the 2 board directors that oversee Parks and Rec, or do you want to kind of switch it up a little bit and have different perspectives? And then the second question would be budget committee. It's Ben who has ever been over admin, but same question as Parks and Rec hiring committee is, do you want to switch that up a little bit?
Well, I thought we were gonna do the same process we did before, where we brought the top candidates in here.
So with Marcus, we didn't. Marcus, Sherry and I thought it was Neil and I, but Neil and I were for Carter. Sherry and I went down to district office and did the last 2 interviews, and then we chose on behalf of the board. So that way they were ready to go by the next board meeting. So the rest of the board did not meet Marcus until he had actually already been in place already.
There's pros and cons to either way.
Carter sat in front of the board.
For like 7 hours.
Well, no, his interview wasn't 7 hours, the meeting was 7 hours.
That was on the midnight meeting. That was-
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
It's like the fall meeting, or like the winter one?
It was
November.
In November? Jeez.
We were, in a little bit of disarray right then.
Yeah.
With stuff. We had a lot to cover.
Apparently, 7 hours. Did y'all have food that one, or?
No.
No,
I'm
No.
so glad I'm here. The dietitian's just gonna make sure everybody gets food.
so how would you like to do it?
Either
We've done
way.
it, we've
Either
done
way.
it both
I mean,
ways.
whatever everybody's comfortable with. Yeah, realistically, whatever everybody's comfortable with. I mean, you guys have already sat in the room with them, so you know how well they're gonna work with you guys.
Well, next board meeting's a month away.
Well, that's the thing. You
They would
can't
have to
go a
wait.
month without a director.
I don't wanna go a whole nother month without a director,
Yeah.
so probably
So not that option.
not the option, bring him in the meeting. Cause we don't wanna call a special meeting for that.
Cause these 2 rounds of interviews did go pretty quick.
When was those interviews? You said Monday?
Well,
So,
and we
We
lost,
interviewed last week and then the roundtables were Monday and Tuesday.
and we've lost good candidates before because we
Waited too long.
waited too long.
Oh, we
process
actually
took
had,
too long.
we actually had a candidate.
I mean, we had to settle for Carter,
Kansas.
and we had to settle for Carter because we took too long.
Well,
If there's such a, if there's such a line, such a difference between candidate A and candidate B,
You might wanna have a third person.
could we,
If it's 2 and you're split, then you're,
but they have to work with him and there's 3 of them. And they're pretty clear on which one they would work best with. They're the ones that have to work with them every day. We don't.
sure.
So could we skip the last step, since they are so vastly different? It's not like they're coming to the board and saying, hey, we have 2 identical candidates and we don't know which one.
No, I think the advantage again with the 3 of us up here is we went through Jed here and then Marcus, and because we meet several times a month, we go talk about a lot of stuff, you know, I've gotten to know a lot more about the Parks and Rec world, what they do. Definitely saw the big difference between Jed and Marcus, what they brought to the table, so they kinda have a good idea.
Also, what was the staff's feeling? I mean, I'm sure you talked to the Park and Rec staff after the round table,
Hey,
and what was their feeling?
Okay, well,
They left that round table energized, and that meeting could have gone 3 hours with it. They couldn't get out of the second one fast enough.
I'll make the decision.
so I feel like we're wasting,
Kinda sounds like you
I feel
guys,
like we're wasting
we made a
time
decision.
to do the next step.
I think Carter point, we don't wanna take away from your guys' opportunity to have FaceTime with them either.
Yeah.
We'll see next month.
It's not
What to
taking
say?
FaceTime away from us, because,
He'll be
I
here
mean, the
next week,
simple,
month.
yeah, the simple fact is we're all gonna meet him when we go over there. And it's not taking FaceTime away from us, you guys are working with him.
This first act of business is giving you that step for the, gym downstairs, 10 out of 10.
I'm working on getting it before.
It's not really expensive, really?
Step, You can't get on a piece of equipment, you need to, I have a step stool.
Right.
No, I want like a box
Give me a
step.
boost.
Every gym you go to, there's a box step.
Oh,
But
a plyo step?
people are literally
Yeah,
putting
plyo
their
box?
like nasty tennis shoes. Like I've seen them because I've been in this gym.
Oh.
I'm here at this gym like almost every day. And they're like, instead of doing box jumps on like the step, which is highly unstable, they're doing it on our nice like benches. It's just gross. Like just get a step.
A plyo box?
Yeah, and they have one that's like 4 different sizes in one.
We could've went and got one of those from
I
Dick's.
don't know. I sent them a link and I was like, just buy this.
We got some 2x4 and plywood around, we
See what they think about that response.
I mean, it's better than them. They're like literally jumping.
What do you think,
Surprised they
Sanford?
haven't
You
bought
think we should
more
just offer A?
benches.
You know, that's surely the shortest path. Personally, if the option exists, I'd like to speak with them, but if it's gonna be a month before we do that, then I would suggest we go forward.
Depends on if you're here, when are you here next?
I'm gonna be here for any of the next board meetings, and I don't anticipate any travel. I've got flexibility, just the coincidence of business travel on the last Thursdays of the month of the last 2 months.
Then I would propose,
I mean, I can meet as soon as next week.
then I would propose that you're over Parker, right?
Yep.
That you and Stacy set up a meeting with and I would set up a meeting with both candidates realistically, if we're gonna go that route. Just set up a meeting with both candidates, and it'd be the final interview and they'll be the hiring committee for the board.
Do you want them in person? And the only reason I say that is I'm not in the office next week, at a conference. So I can do them,
Convenient.
I can set them up virtually,
It is on your calendar.
or I can send them, or you can still come, right? You can still use my office, it's not like you can't be there. I just know that I've been in those interviews to take notes. So it's up to Sanford and Stacy how you wanna do it. I can try to set them up virtually next week, or you can do in person, or you can wait until I'm back.
I'll let you three work that out.
So just skip that part. Just go with A.
The jurors might think it does have to be done quickly.
I'm available any day next week.
How tomorrow?
I'm thinking.
I don't know.
Can we do a
Candidates.
virtual
Or whatever.
tomorrow?
I can try. I
I can't
know
be tomorrow.
candidate A was traveling
Tomorrow.
the latter half this week.
If we do virtual tomorrow, I can be the other person. If tomorrow, you just wanna get it done.
You schedule for the first part of next week. I mean, you guys can record it, voice record it, and then you can just have it transcribed.
You should do it through Teams, that's what we did, and then I
Hit
transcribed.
the record button on
When was it? Remind me the first day of the first interview?
So we did the first round 2 weeks ago, and then we did the second round Monday, Tuesday this week.
So we're gonna wait another week to do the third.
Yeah, we're really
Yeah, that's what I'm
stretching that
saying.
out.
I don't.
I had let the
I'd be
candidates
so-
know that, most likely if there was a third round with the board, it would be potentially next week. But if it has to go to the following week, I mean, it's not the end of the world.
there. I'm good either way. I'm good offering A. Or if you wanna have the hiring committee offer,
I'm
Or
good at
speak to
offering
both.
A. I think I'll
I
be
just-
really sad if A goes away and we're left with B. Not like to be mean.
I think if we just go through the rest of the applicants at that point, I don't think we would go with B. I think if we revisit the other, 28 applicants?
Yep.
And just continue interviewing,
That's actually
I
what
would
we
not-
discussed as well.
go with B.
That we would probably have to reopen it if A doesn't accept.
and if we go that route, make sure you keep copies of all the resumes for all the applicants that
Yep.
applied
Okay.
on file. That way, if anybody has a legal challenge or anything in the future, we have that documentation. What do you think, Sanford?
I'm a proponent, as soon as next week, really any day. You're right, we don't want to necessarily lose candidate A because candidate B really isn't an option.
Just don't wanna lose candidate A
And with
because of
candidate
that.
A's qualifications, unless we've spoken to them recently, we're not sure, what their status is.
Sounds like majority of the board just wants to go with A. That's what I think.
I would like to just go with A.
I like to just go with A.
I'm good with offering A.
Good. John, does the board need to take a formal action vote to say that they wanna make an offer?
I think so, since this is an enterprise director.
I'll make a motion, we extend an offer to A, same level salary that we started Marcus at.
Like, way back when, or?
I second.
Do it plus CPI for the years past that. I don't know if it'll be good enough, it should, but I'm sure he'll counter, so, which is fine. And you said you'll second, Sanford?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Lee.
And none opposed. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Is that fair? Do you have the market value right now for salaries?
Mhm.
Okay.
And we built in, so we did a hiring range, right? That was, under where Marcus was when we left. So technically, from like a budgetary standpoint, right, we've got a little bit of wiggle room even outside of that hiring range. So even if we say, okay, we go middle of the hiring range, they counter, we can go up to as high as where Marcus was before he left.
On the flip side of that, we did increase the salary over there in the meantime.
So as soon as this person gets hired, then that interim director pay flips back to the regular pay.
Okay.
So all of that was contemplated with Marcus being gone for essentially a month, right? So you have a month's worth of director's pay. We only took a very small fraction to pay the interim director, and then also leaves us that wiggle room for hiring.
Okay. Any other, we're good?
What I will do is I'll get an offer letter and then I'll send it to you and Sanford, just for you guys to review, make sure you're okay with that.
They are still going to be the hiring committee for that position, so run everything through those two.
So I'll send the offer letter to you guys first, get your approval, as long as you're okay with it, then I will then work with the candidate, and then, negotiations, as long as you guys are okay with me leading the negotiations, knowing what the caps are, that's what I'm gonna do, unless you two want to lead those negotiations.
But they need to sign off
Yeah.
on whatever
Yeah,
salaries.
so
they
whatever
agree on.
final offer is, will go through Stacy and Sanford for approval before it is final out to the candidate.
Will you just text me when you do that tomorrow?
I'll probably do it tonight.
Cause I'm not in front of my computer tomorrow. Tomorrow's my
We do.
first day. Since Mother's Day.
Okay, we're good?
Sounds good, thank you.
Alright. Let's move on to item 10, which would be 23 and 24 audit update. You kinda already know my opinion on this, cause I came up to the office when you sent me this stuff.
The audit?
Yeah, so I provided you guys a letter, right, from me, just kind of outlining some of the things that are going on with the 23-24 audit, and just some timelines. And then some, information regarding Huntington Bank, National Bank in our line of credit. I did, in my letter, indicated that the conversations we've had with Huntington National Bank, they don't intend to do anything with that letter that they sent to us. I also got further clarification in an email yesterday from them that that is true, and that they're actually giving us more time than what was originally discussed with them. And I've also sent everything over to our special bond counsel that's worked on all those deals, Harsh Estakar, and have him review everything and get his just legal opinion on, is what they're doing fair to the district, and is there any other recourse that maybe the district needs to consider? So one
For the
suggestion.
auditors or for Huntington?
I'm just talking about Huntington right
Okay.
now. We'll talk about the auditors here in a
Okay.
second.
You had me confused there.
Yeah, sorry.
I didn't know which.
Just talking about Huntington right now. And so one suggestion that Social Bond Council had was the potential of memorializing what Huntington has said in a memorandum. I'm not sure if that's necessary or not, but that's one suggestion that he's had. But at the end of the day, the focus is on getting the work done and just getting it complete. So switching gears to the auditors themselves, they're very good. Okay, let me start with that. They're very good. They are very thorough. You are getting the highest possible level, really forensic level audit. So in the 3 years that I've done an audit for the district, this is the most amount of work I've ever done. I've uploaded thousands of pages of documents. I have over 70 requests from these auditors, which is more than double all previous auditors we've had. So that should tell you that they are doing a very thorough job, which is not a bad thing, right? But it does take a ton of time to get done. And then you add in the complexity of the system conversion and everything that went wrong in that I'm having to constantly deal with. I do have, Tyler Technologies has offered to give us 23 hours of cleanup support. I had to buy the other 20, so technically we got half price. But we need it, we need the additional help from them to clean up some things that they, in our opinion, messed up during implementation. So our implementation consultant from Tyler was good, but he was more of a data analyst. He was not a CPA, was not a director of finance ever. I have other consultants that I use through Tyler who will be working with us in the cleanup that was a director of finance, used the software as an end user before flipping over to a consultant basis. So I feel like from that perspective, I didn't know what I didn't know going into the conversion, and hindsight's always 20/20, right? I would have asked for a different consultant for the implementation, someone that had more real life experience doing the role. And I feel like that definitely didn't help our situation. Now, granted, we were taking a very archaic system for metro districts in QuickBooks and trying to convert it into a very robust system in Tyler's ERP. And it was very tricky to begin with, and it got even more complicated during implementation, and it got further complicated after the fact when we started actually using the software and learning how to do everything the right way. So with the 23, we've got a timeline. I've already went over that in my letter. We're had a meeting with the auditors today. My team and I have a July 3rd deadline to finish the last samples that they've given us, which is fixed assets, revenue, and a couple other fees that we're working on. I will say that some of these are very large requests, especially revenue. It's not hard, it's just time consuming. It's a lot of research. It's like, okay, find this in one particular invoice for one client, for one customer, then find the subsequent payment details, then find it on the bank statement, and then combine it all. So it is just time consuming, but my team is working on it. I'm obviously facilitating and helping where I can. So feel good, we're gonna be on track to get that 23 done and in front of the board at the July meeting, so we can get that over with and then move on into 24. With 24, we definitely have a lot of work to do to get that done in a very short amount of time. And I am concerned that with the auditors being so extensive, that it could take longer than it should. So I don't know if it's a discussion that I need to have with them, or maybe I need to bring you on, Stacy, to discuss as treasurer with the auditors, the level of detail that you want them to go after, if you want the same level of detail that they're doing now, or is there something else that you, as a board, you might want to see that could maybe shorten the window? I don't want to compromise the audit results, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, how detailed of an audit do you need every year? Business or best practice in the industry is every 3 to 4 years you do a forensic audit. You don't need it every year.
So I do know that after they get us completely set up in the system for 2023, 2024 naturally is going to go faster because all of the controls are in place.
Should.
Yeah, so your 2024 audit should only take like a month of all hands on, and then 2024 should be caught up.
That's what I hope, but just with the amount of requests that I've had to go through with 23, I just have that nagging concern. Again, I think I agree with you, it should go much faster, controls are already done. A lot of the documentation that we provided in 23 will carry over into 24, especially like lease
I think we
agreements
need
and
to
things like
make
that.
sure they are aware of statutory time requirements. Because right now, they are causing us to violate statutory time requirements. And so they need to abide by, when you hire them on, they should be abiding by those. You know, I understand it's time consuming. And I came up and talked to you about that, was the fact that, you know, there are state regulation requirements, time requirements. And no matter what they're doing, we didn't ask for a forensic audit, we just asked for an audit. And so whatever they can get done in the time constraint, then that's what needed to be done for 2023, so that one, we could still meet the statutory requirements. Because we didn't ask to get a forensic audit, we have to have a detailed, pinpoint specific thing that we're asking them to look for. We didn't do that, we just changed auditors. Clean it up, set up the controls, and let's roll. I don't know if we're paying them a lot of money for the audit, but I don't know if they're just dragging their feet, if it's was something that wrong in the audits before. I mean, the auditors before were some of the best supposedly some of the best in the industry as well. So I don't understand the holdup. That's my personal opinion on it.
The only difference that I can see between the three, right? We had SKR, we had Big Scoford, and we have Moss Adams now, Baker City. It's just the level of requests. That's the only difference. With the first two, I'll give you an example. So from a bank statement perspective, the first two only cared about the operating accounts, right? Because that's where the big money comes in and out of. All the investment accounts, they just look at, okay, what was your balance at year end? Does it match? Does it have a confirmation from the bank? Yes or no? Whereas this auditor is asking for a whole extra level of detail for every single account that we have, including signer cards and resolutions for banking, and just an extra layer of detail that we've never had before. And I've asked that question throughout when they will give me something that I haven't heard before. And I'm like, well, I've never done this before. Is this just standard practice for you, or is this something different? And they keep saying that it's standard practice. And that's the reason why I am a little concerned.
Standard
with
practice
how
is
fast-
meeting your statutory deadlines,
Right.
is standard practice.
I do know that Baker Tilly just went through a merger, and so I only just got my engagement letter Monday for my 2024 audit. I had to file an extension for my job
Yeah.
because I couldn't get an engagement letter. Because they ceased handing out any engagement letters until the name change was done and their stationery was ready.
There are not enough accountants and auditors right now for special districts,
Correct.
not even close.
So
Which is why we couldn't keep the middle big Scofer, because
Well,
they
there
lost
comes a
it.
point where you have to say, okay, to meet the statutory guideline, we're gonna have to cut it off right here.
Yeah.
Give us our compliance letter, our required compliance letter, report to DOLA, and let's press on. Whatever we didn't get to right now in 2023, let's take a hard look at it for 2024 to make that up. But as far as them dragging their feet, this can't keep going on because we're gonna keep having different folks send us letters, administrative default letters, that they require a copy of our auditor to make sure that we're in compliance, so they keep doing business with us. It's gonna start affecting us. It's gonna start affecting the district's credit. And that can't happen. When that starts to happen, it starts bleeding over, we need to start looking for a different auditor. Because if they can't meet statutory guidelines or deadlines, we can't use them. We just can't.
I would ask them to put it in writing. Their timeline for 2024. 2023, you have nailed down to the next 2 or 3 weeks, and it will be presented at the July board meeting. So they already have that deadline, I'm assuming?
Yep.
So come up with a deadline that's needed for the
Okay.
2024.
Yep.
And tell them, hey,
We have to meet it. No
this
ifs, no
is
buts.
when I have to have that 2024 budget out.
Okay.
Or audit out.
Done. I like it, and I told Troy when he came to the office, and I'll tell the rest of the board this, is I agree with everything that he said about, the potential of wanting to maybe go with another audit firm. So what I said is, let's see how 24 goes, knowing that it should go faster, and if everything looks good, then we continue on, we have one more year with them, we're 25, if not, there's nothing that prevents the board from going maybe back to SKR, right? The original auditors that did our audits for like 7 years.
I have no issues with how detailed they're being, none.
Right.
You know, if they can figure out how many pennies are dropped in a dang parking lot, so be it. But they still have to meet the
Right.
deadline.
Yes. Yeah,
So there comes a point where you gotta tell the kid, quit picking up the pennies, we're gonna have to stop right there.
right,
Because it's not our deadline,
no,
it's the state deadline.
state deadline. Yep. OAG's office, so, okay. Any other questions for me based off of what I've discussed, not only here, but previously, the letter that I submitted to the board, anything else?
Good with them.
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Item 11,
God, still me.
Marcus, where's Marcus? Call him.
Daniel, where's Marcus?
Did you get your?
He's with Sherry.
That is, I don't even know what to say.
Not a thing.
Okay, so same format that you guys have seen in the past, so Stephanie, sorry Stacy, I've been saying your name wrong. Stephanie put this all together. Some highlights that I would say are really, I think really cool, right, is, look at this one, lessons. 239 private, 85 semi-private, this is all for the month of May. So, one of the things, as you guys know, we have beefed up our supervisory level position, so we have an aquatic supervisor, we have a fitness supervisor, so, aquatic supervisor just coming in, hitting the ground running, really beefing up the swim lessons, and this is direct revenue, right, that's coming into the district, so that's really cool to see, and it's just growing and growing and growing, and the best part about it is we are doing like zero marketing for it, because it's all word of mouth. That's how good this program is, and more people are coming and wanting, inquiring about wanting to do it, so definitely kudos to Marty, who's the aquatic supervisor, for getting that going. The other thing that I would point out is your RCE facility usage. Unfortunately, we don't have a really good way of tracking usage here, But this is really cool to see, right? You have, in the month of May, 3,622 residential visits, meaning unique residents within the district came and visited the facility. But even cooler is 522 non-residents. So it's a perk that you guys as a board offer to the rest of the community out here to allow other people to come in and use your facilities. So that's a really, I think, a testament to, we are not just about Woodland Hills, we are about the greater community, and that continues to grow and is just really great. Revenue, obviously, is continuing to climb. I'd love to see the comparison when you look at 23, 24, and 25. These are all kind of the same time frames, right? But in those years. So being at 160,000 year to date in the month of May versus 2 years ago, 118,000. So continues to grow. I expect them to exceed, from a budgetary standpoint, what we expected in revenue, because we are now just in the thick of summer activities and revenue generating activities. So really good news from that front. Any questions about that before we kind of jump into the meeting we had with Challenger?
Looks good.
Okay.
No.
So, as you guys are aware, in the Parks and Rec Master Plan, there was a lot of comments from the Bentgrass residents about a park. And we did our due diligence, worked with the Metro District over there about the fact that it's in their service plan, that they offer the parks for the community. We also don't own any property over there. So even if we wanted to do something, how do you go about doing that? So Stephanie and I actually reached out to Challenger and the board for the Metro District over there, and had 2 meetings actually with them, and to discuss, hey, what are your plans? What's going on? So what we found out was they do have plans for a small park, only with 2 play structures, really underwhelming, I guess is the word that we would use. So we asked them, well, what would it look like if we partnered together between Challenger, Bentgrass Metro, and Woodland Hills Metro to do something maybe a little bit bigger for the community in Bentgrass, but also the greater community in Woodland Hills. So what we have done on our side is we have contacted GoCo, so Greater Colorado. They do matching funds for these types of projects. So we are an eligible entity for GoCo because we receive lottery funds. So the last meeting we just had yesterday with Challenger and Bentgrass Metro was, in order for us to be the entity that's receiving the GoCo funds and applying for it, we'd have to figure out, okay, ownership. So right now they are willing to deed over the specific tract of land for that playground structure to the district, and we would then be eligible to apply for GoCo grant dollars to go ahead and do a much larger park. So they're funding the majority of it. We'll come in with some sort of funding plus matching funds from GoCo in order to make it a reality. So very similar cost basis from what we have for community park. So community park upgrades that we looked at in the master plan was about $385,000 in play structures. It would be probably, I would say, under that because the property is not nearly as big. So total funds from the district will be very minimal. We would do it as a 2026 budget item because January is the next time frame that we could apply for GoCo money. So we think it's a great opportunity for us as a Metro District to step in and help. We have to take into consideration that every single one of those residents in Bentgrass is paying the monthly fees that goes towards parks, trails, open space facilities. We also do get the Colorado lottery money, which is based off population, which is based off of the fact that Bentgrass is part of our district. So on our our side, we feel like we have an obligation to see what we can do to help and support. And also just think it would be great for the community to say, hey, look at what we did as a group to come together and offer something better for people over in Baycrest. So as of right now, the plan is we have to schedule another meeting with a regional manager at GoCo to talk more about the project, what do they need from us? Are they okay with what we discussed where they would, Challenger would deed over the piece of property to us? I think that's gonna be fine. And then work out the application process, all that kind of stuff. So I am not looking for direction from the board other than to say I would really like to move forward with these discussions. I'd like to put in some money in the 26 capital budget for a contribution to the park. We have plenty of reserve funds for this. Like I said, we also are getting regular quarterly lottery dollars, $10,000 to $15,000 every quarter. We have over $250,000 sitting in the bank just from Colorado lottery funds. So it's not pulling from anything else that we're looking to do. It's not going to come out of monthly budget. Yeah, that's really kind of where we're at with that.
Let's just make sure that we have at least a rough draft of an agreement and everything between all parties before we do anything with GoCo, or we're dedicating money to that, where we're, cause we won't be able to allocate money towards that project until the land's deeded over. We can't just allocate money for what possibly could be there. But once we have that spot, the plan, and all that stuff here through the end of the year, we'll be able to allocate the money in the budget, which is coming up fast.
Yeah. I'll work on that. Any other questions on the Challenger Home / Baycrest Metro Park?
I like it. It's good.
Okay. Horseshoe Park. So as you guys know, we broke ground. It actually doesn't look like this right now. It looks even better. I'm super excited about this project. I think it's going to be really great for the community. But we do have 2 change orders currently. One that we were kind of expecting was the 3-inch main line for the irrigation system. So what we want to do, we don't want to put a lot of sprinkler heads like throughout the field, right? Like that's just a recipe for disaster. So we need more pressure to be able to throw enough water throughout the field. So unfortunately, we are going to have 2 heads in the middle. But that's it. There won't be any else. All the rest of them will be outside. So we have to go up to a 3-inch main line for the irrigation. And then we also have that 2-wire clock and pedestal. It's just replacing some of the existing infrastructure for the sprinkler system. It just kind of goes to that. And then the demo and haul out of the concrete pad for the basketball court. So we had to take out the basketball court in order to make room for the running track. We talked about, well, what if we leave it, cut it down to size? It would make it difficult for the runners. You kind of have to traverse this basketball court. That's just not ideal, so we opted to go ahead and remove the basketball court. However, I am getting quotes from Colorado Escapes on could we put it back, but smaller. The pad was actually a half court, but it was much larger than it needed to be. So we're looking to shrink it, and where can we put it that's not gonna cost us an arm and a leg, from whether it's foundation or irrigation, or not irrigation, but drainage. So I'm waiting on those quotes, and I'll bring those to the board, but those 2 change orders have been approved. Budgetary wise, the landscape stuff, so the sprinkler 3-inch main line, we could technically pull from landscape maintenance to pay for that in order to continue to keep the budget on the project under, or we can roll another project and we will be slightly over budget on the project, but I've got some wiggle room there to to kind of navigate. Questions?
I'd rather keep it all under
Under the project?
the project.
Yeah.
Cause it's one asset.
Me too. From the cabinet perspective.
Yep.
Any other questions about Horseshoe Park? We have fielded a lot of questions and
Yeah,
comments
it's
from
been
the
all over
community.
social media. I finally replied on there the other night and told everybody what was going in there, cause everybody was like, what are they doing? They tore out the basketball court. It's a big dirt field, oh God. You know, it's like, okay, it's okay.
So
You're gonna like it.
we've got talking points for my staff and the Parks and Rec staff about what we're doing. We also have been partnering with Dan and his team on putting out some social media posts, putting out some more stuff on the website. So we're working on that. I'm also getting a rendering of what
I
it's
was just
gonna
gonna
look
ask
like.
that. Can we
Just
get a rendering
waiting.
put out?
Yeah, so I put the request to the Colorado Escapes, just waiting to get that back from them, and then we'll be able to actually put a rendering. Cause right now what I have is just it's an aerial view, like from, let's say, the county assessor's page, so it shows the field, and then it's just an overlay of like a field and a track. It's not very pretty, right? So the rendering will be pretty, right, and it'll be better to
In
put out.
color.
In color.
And in color. So that will get added to the website as soon as we have it, but like I said, we'll get something on the website, by the end of the week, so that people can be directed to the website. And what you'll see is if you go to the website, when it comes up, will be a banner at the top. So right now, there's a banner that talks about, hey, we're closed on 4th of July. For Parks and Rec, there'll be another one that shows, exciting news about Horseshoe Park and a little bit of details, and then a link to more details in the current drawing that I have, and then we'll replace it with a rendering we'll look at it.
So tomorrow.
Not the rendering, but everything else
Okay.
should be up by tomorrow. Anything else? Okay.
Jeez, Jed.
Sorry.
Jeez.
I apologize.
Are we good on Park and Rec?
I hope so.
We'll move on to item 12. Water report.
You need some water?
So we want a short version, or are we gonna go through the whole
Please.
short version?
Yeah.
I would prefer please. So the thing with the water tank there at Theriot, so we're gonna draw in those three, requests. The one is the right of way permit. The reason why this was brought up on this project is because there was nothing memorialized for the right of ways where the fencing is currently sitting on state land board, as well as, blocking the right of way for, El Paso County to access that all the way to the end of that road. So there was some verbal language that was exchanged through the years that, with the understanding of the county, with the roads, park in particular, they wanted to, in this project here, they wanted us to remove the fencing and put it back where it's supposed to be on the property lines. We went back and forth to say, well, okay, then you have to extend the pavement to the end, to the state land board, as well as putting up barricades and such and so forth. So, as we're working down through that part of the, getting into the agreement that you already hopefully have read over and looked at the language in that, is that as soon as the state land board ever got sold to a developer, and now that the road would continue, it's understood that we would take this fencing down and put it to where it's, would be currently to the property lines in the right of way. So that's what that agreement's for. The other is because we started construction, we had a green light, Tuesday of this week to start pulling dirt, not, only to be shut down about a couple hours later because the county didn't like certain things or there wasn't certain paperwork. And part of it is the haul route, because the road conditions up there are very poor. They scored it as at 35 out of 100, and we felt as a district that we shouldn't be liable for the whole condition of the road. being as in poor shape it is, that if there was additional damages, that, the district would be liable for all the damages on the road there. So there is some provisions in that haul route that was looked over by legal to bring back, if there was any things like in the alligator part that it's really loose right now, that we would just bring it up to the level a little bit better than what it was, but not to pristine, because they're gonna have to do some major work on that road after we're done with the construction up there. And then the final piece for Vivid is the contract to sign there for the, what do you call that?
It's engineering.
Engineering.
It's soils
Soil,
engineering.
yeah.
We use
Soil
them on
testing?
every project, yeah.
Yeah,
We
for
use them
soil
on
testing.
every project.
So it's just that, it's just the contractor portion that we've used in the past. So those three things that we reviewed and talked about were signed. But other than that, we had some issues with the wells filling down. Right now, we're down a well at the Guthrie well site. We believe that a lightning storm had took out that well, so it's ready to have to come out and be repaired. That's to be determined still to this time. The vendor that we use has a backlog, because there's a lot of wells that are down in the area, so we're not the only one. LH6 out in the golf course, the wire that leads from the vault, from the VFD that powers that well to the step-up transformer to induce greater power to pull that water out, that as we set that well down to the bottom, shorted out just shy of the golf course ring. And thank goodness it's in conduit, but the thoughts were, well, let's dig it up and put a junction box there for repair. And I says, no, what if we had some other issues that, that's not the only place that wire could fail. So we had a vendor out of Pueblo come up here to pull that wire, and it was a good thing that we did that, because there were some other deficiencies in the wire as they were pulling it through. It was just an installation problem when it was put in there that causes these failures. But now with the new wire, the way it was properly pulled in, so we won't have those deficiencies. So there's a little bit of bill for that, but in the long run, it would be the better investment of what we did instead of putting a Band-Aid here or there on that. Lastly, with the FAWA, we're still doing a bunch of checks over there, inspections. There's some challenging things that's come up in the last few weeks, ranging from infield inspections that the inspectors are finding in the field, to some plant problems that was not thought of during the process when it was designed or in design at the time. Now we're dealing with those problems. We are working those out as we're going along. Some are kind of bumpy, some of them will smooth out a little bit better, but we're moving along with that. The last thing that we did is promise that we made our tie-in from our west tank line into the plant, and it's been tested, it's ready to go. So that whenever we take advantage of taking water earlier to the Bar X line going up to the Winston wells, that is in place and we can execute that part. As far as anything else, does the board have any other questions with this report?
Let's talk about the haul route agreement real quick, because we paid the road improvement fee already, right?
That is apart from this agreement.
I know it says that in there, but what are they using the road improvement fee for?
No idea.
No idea. We asked that question.
It all stems from a Board of County Commissioners resolution that was passed in December of 2024 that said all these projects, residential, commercial, are now subject to this road impact fee that has to be paid during the permitting process. So what they did is, that's as far as we know. How they came up with the amount that we paid, which was over $9,000, was they take the old tank site, the amount of area, you reduce it from the new tank site area, and then you come up with a new square footage, and there's the fee based off square footage, which you're probably gonna have to pay this when your building goes up.
And that's in their rules and specs down there.
Correct.
And then as
But what
far
it goes
as,
to, we have no idea unless we pull up the resolution.
and then as far as the language in there about if they're, cause that road's trashed right now,
Yes,
and they're responsible for maintenance of it.
correct, correct.
So how do we mitigate them coming after us to pay the bill for what they should have been maintaining all this time?
So, right, you wanna go ahead?
Yeah, so I made a few red line changes to this and sent it back to the county attorney. Basically, the way it's written is that before construction starts, everyone's gonna go out jointly, the district and the
3-day
county.
period.
Yep, and they're gonna inspect the road and everyone is free to make all the comments of all the problems they see. At the end, jointly, everyone's gonna go out again and do kind of a post-construction report on the same road. The county will then essentially create a list of the changes and ask for an invoice. That invoice should only be the cost of bringing the road back up to the condition it was on day one. Originally, they said same condition or better, but the problem is the way the contract's written is whatever the county asks for,
Yes.
Whitman just has to sign off on by default.
Right.
So, and there's probably not gonna be a whole lot of leeway in that phrasing ultimately, cause are we gonna challenge a few $1,000s in court, and this gets difficult, but I revised it to say that up to the condition of the road as it was initially, and only for damage caused related to the construction itself. So wildfire happens, something like that, district's not responsible for that. Those red lines are currently with the county attorney. I sent them over yesterday. We haven't heard back on those. The right-of-way agreement, this is just a license agreement that the county is saying, yes, you can go ahead and build a gate across our road. That's all that is. They already approved my red lines, so that's good to go. I'm not sure, their instruction was just going to upload it to EDARP when we're done, and Carter's handling that. And then the ICA is your normal ICA with the engineer. Yeah.
So during the construction process, which we got the notice to proceed letter, I just got it this afternoon, so they're gonna start hauling out dirt again. Hopefully we won't get shut down for some other, thing that they may come up with.
How much did it cost us in delay time?
We're up to what? Well, 15.
1 week was 15,000.
We don't know what this is.
We don't know what's gonna happen, cause they had to demow, remow, and then they got shut down after 3 hours. So I would guess another 5 to 10, so maybe up to $25,000 in
I
county.
just wanna make sure we're documenting all that.
We are.
We also have a timeline started with the engineer. So one of the things we didn't talk about was our engineer submitted everything to the county back in February of last year. And the county only has, is it 60 days or 90 days?
They have 90 days.
90 days to respond, they took 5 months.
That sounds like a them problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good luck saying that to the county. So,
Who did it go to? Planning Commission?
yeah, this is all through planning and engineering. So we've started to document everything, and the plan is to have a meeting with Commissioner Geithner, since she is our commissioner for this area. She is also the chairwoman of the Board of County Commissioners, and just talk to her about the issues that we had with this project and some of the deficiencies that we see with the planning commission specifically, and see if she can help us with some sort of resolutions maybe moving forward. It's not like this is gonna be our last project. We have lots of projects to go.
It should be remedied. It should be remedied by, they're short on planning commission. They're missing planning commission people. Actually, I applied to be on the planning commission, so I was asked to apply. So I applied. We're waiting to hear. We'll see how it goes. There's a couple conflicts in there, so we'll see how that goes. That had to be sorted out. At least conflicts, I feel like they're conflicts. Nonetheless, once they have a full planning commission, I think that stuff should go a little bit smoother. I don't know how they ended up so short on people, through the terms and people reviewing stuff.
So during the process of this road haul agreement, that we'll be doing inspections daily. So whenever they are working with heavy equipment, going up and down the road, in particular Theriot Road, that if we see something, that we'll just take a picture and document it right away, of the conditions. If we can see if there's a no change through the day, at the end of the day, fine, that would be that. So it's just a little extra step, but just trying to look out for the district, just making sure that we see something, if we can repair it right away before it gets to that escalation. It'd be a lot cheaper to do it at that point than it is at the end of the project.
Okay.
Plus, it also shows that we're being fair and proactive.
I like it, that was all I had on that, I think I voiced that to you when I was up there, cause it was like, this RIF fee it's crazy how they determine that. Anything else on that? Anything else on water report? Kelsey?
No.
Sanford?
No, very thorough, thank you.
What do you need on there? You just need a vote to approve?
Yeah, need a vote to approve all three of those agreements. I believe the haul route and the right of way both need notary.
I'm not sure.
I think I saw a notary
Yeah,
on
there's
there.
a notary in the
I
back.
believe they all have to be notarized.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be quicker than that.
Yes, so the way the county wants to handle is to have the board execute it and then upload it, and then county will review it and stamp it themselves.
I'll
So
motion,
do we, John, do we need to notarize the board member signatures, or will they notarize it when the county does it all?
We'll notarize our own signatures, but the whole agreement itself, can't be signed yet, just because we haven't gotten that back yet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the county's gonna want changes or not.
in the hall agreement?
The whole agreement.
So
Yeah,
we
right
wanna
away,
leave
so-
that
Yeah,
out
sign
for
this
now?
anyway.
So we can adopt it subject to final legal revision. I put pretty minor red lines on there, and I don't think they're gonna fight them, but.
Could be 5 months from now when we see it again.
I hope not. I'll just say that, with that right-of-way agreement, Lori sent it back the next day, so that was a real nice turnaround on their part.
So right away can be signed and then notarized on Monday, and then the ICA is ready to be signed as well. The other one is subject to final legal review.
Okay. I'll motion we approve the ICA, the right-of-way agreement, and the haul route agreement, pending final legal review. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kelsey. Any other discussion on them? All in favor? Aye.
I,
None opposed, so motion carries and will pass. Alright, item 13, wastewater report.
Alright, so, first two items we'll discuss later on. There's the information, passed our second quarter wet test. The storage facility is actually now up on ER for review. The fire department already came out and made some recommendations. You know, they want a fee, of course, gotta pay them. But it's moving along, so, John, I think, I'll say July 12th, I think, is the closing on comments on that.
Okay.
So I would think that by the end of the month, we might be able to start moving forward on bidding process, and all that, so.
Cool. Awesome.
Working with the engineers and follow on the lift station over there. I have nothing good to say about that, so it's an absolute disaster. I've been meeting with Kimley Horn for the plant expansion upgrade. We just sent, they gave us a extensive list of testing to do. We just sent a first round out today. We'll be doing that for a couple of weeks. So, I think there's a few items left for data submission and that testing. That should be good. You guys know I also engaged them for the ASR DPR project. It was actually ready, Friday, but timelines and stuff for everyone involved, we decided to push that off till the July meeting. So, Katie got a bunch of information to send over, and so we'll be better prepared for that next meeting. The 2 new collections operators, start this month. They're working out really good, both eager, fitting right in with the guys. Engineers are working on a couple reports, I think the Baldwin one was finalized, I believe. EPA finally, was supposed to open in April, finally opened our DMR QA study. We've already got the testing done, results submitted, so we'll find out what the actual results are in September. And did the interviews for the Parks and Rec. Actually had the follow thing's not going smooth. I don't think that everybody inherited a mess with that thing, and we got thrown into this thing, and there were some serious communication things in there, which came to light with me blowing up a meeting at one of our spec engineers, but it turned out to be a good thing, because we all sat down and hashed out where we all stand, what we need to do going forward, so it ended up being a good thing. Just wish it wouldn't have come to that. We had a VFD that's been failing at Falcon Highlands, giving us alarms and replace that, so we haven't had any issues with that. We had a contactor failed on the plant HVAC about 3 weeks ago. This last line is not correct, because I've sent them an email, tried calling all week, and I have no idea when they're gonna get the parts replaced. So thankfully it's summer, so only half the HVAC is working. But that's our next contract, maintenance contract with them is gonna have to be addressed, because we can't, obviously in the winter, we can't go 3 months without repairs, so.
Right. The part that's working, the lab and everything is still,
Yep, that part's working, it's
Okay.
just the main part where the clarifiers and stuff are, being in the winter, that's the part that's gonna freeze, and it's gonna cost a lot of money.
Yeah, be a lot of space heaters.
And right before the meeting, I got a call from the gas pipeline people on an easement through our South property. They just had a couple questions, making sure we didn't have like a nature easement or anything through there. And so like in the next 2 to 3 months, they'll be doing the easement acquisitions. So John will be getting some legal stuff from them to
Cool.
go through and have you guys sign off on, so.
I think I passed one of their natural gas places up there off 8, is it 76? Did they have one up there?
I don't know,
It's
it's all in the pipelines.
Yeah, there's one on 76, I think another one on 71.
The only bummer is, in hindsight, we should have changed the zoning on that.
Oh,
Because right now it's just agriculture, so you're
Yeah.
just gonna get pennies on the dollar.
right,
We could've got it to
we should change it to.
commercial or whatever we need, yeah, whatever.
Hurry up, hurry up.
Go, go, go.
Any questions?
No, thank you for the project schedule. Keeping us up to
Okay, we're
speed.
still looking good.
Yeah.
You'll have the data memo draft tomorrow.
That's it.
You'll have the data site visit memo draft tomorrow.
Good deal.
Questions?
Thank you.
Comments? Concerns?
No?
Nope.
Alright, item 14, attorney's report.
That's me.
That is, give us good news.
Oh, well, some good news.
That was the good news.
That was the good news.
No, out of the many things happening, everything is slightly moving forward. So kind of start with the biggest one, service plan. I think the service plan itself is actually good to go. When you submit a service plan, you include a letter of intent with it. One of the beautiful things about the letter of intent is you tie off the attributes of the service plan with the various El Paso County master plans, all 400 something pages of them. So I am cherry picking the most fantastic aspects of those plans and saying our service plan does them wonderful things. So we're getting there. I'm very, very confident that this will be submitted before the next meeting. So we'll be talking about kind of the timeline and stuff in July for what the review process looks like. As you noted, Troy, they are understaffed right now. When we submit a service plan, by statute, they have a 21-day turnaround time, and I would expect they'll adhere to it. But what a slower staff can also do is push off kind of final approval of planning commission and BOCC hearings. So we'll kind of see how that plays out long term, but I think we're right there, and I fully expect this to be submitted probably in the second week of July, third at the latest, but before the next meeting. Amending your state rules and regulations. I feel like every week I'm making some sort of adjustment to this. I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. Carter and I chatted about it on the phone, kind of how we want to tackle this in the end. And once I'm finished with my red lines, probably needs about another month minimum, honestly, of me jumping in and out of it. I'll set up I'll work with Carter on trying to set up a couple appointments and see if we want to tackle it in blocks. The biggest challenge is, so when we redid the rules and regulations 2 years ago, what we really did was, if you remember, the district used to have bylaws and they used to have rules and regs. The intent was just, we combined those documents and then just kind of made it fit together. But it wasn't a, hey, it says when a new homeowner comes to the district, they fill out this form, they give it to Carter gives them a handshake and gives them a key or something. There's a lot of strange provisions in those bylaws and rules regs, and we're really just trying to bring it all current to what the current director practice is here in Woodland. So that's what we're going through, and I'm gonna make all the red lines I can off my experience here, and then we're gonna have to tackle it kind of piece by piece with the enterprise directors and their various areas of expertise, and that's probably gonna take a few more months. Realistically, I hate to say this is probably by the end of this year, you'll have new rules and regs, you guys will be able to approve them and stuff, but we're looking at probably 1 to 3 months before this is truly ready for a, true final review by the board.
And are we going through there, I know in the bylaws, for instance, are we going through there and are we actually putting the CRS reference in there for the individual bylaws?
For the
now?
bylaws related to the board, yes, it's all piggybacks off of statute says
It all
this,
goes
we
off
will
Title
follow
32,
statute.
most of
Yeah,
it. I wanna
we're
make
not
sure.
gonna go deviate off of whatever statute says. Rules and regs has some statutes that are involved, but then there's also things that are unique to Woodman and unique to each of the enterprises that just have to get looked at. I mean, that document.
And that's
is
fine, I
so-
just wanna make sure, because I think it's lost sometimes that our bylaws, we just don't make those up. It's basically, stating that for public consumption. This is from Title 32, this section, this citing where it's coming from, or Title 1, wherever it's coming from. Just so that we're making sure we're citing that because that's the most accessible thing for the community, nobody ever goes and reads, except for me, Title 32. But yeah, just making sure that we're citing that so they know where to find it if they wanted to go find it. And it'd probably save you some, in the future, somebody like some prior residents coming in and saying, hey, I wanna see where this says this. Well, it says right there.
Okay, I have not been deleting any of the sites, but I also haven't been adding any.
Okay.
I can plug those in as I go through.
Cause I know some are repealed, some are there's a lot of changes there, at least from what I've just seen, from what Ann Terry had been sending about some of the legislative changes and stuff.
It shouldn't be too bad. I'm gonna guess I'm trying to recall if there's meeting structure in there, but like maybe adding the annual meeting and how it doesn't apply here. But yeah, I don't think it should be too bad.
It was just something I noticed looking at them and I was like, man, I better at least mention it so we make sure. It might save us some money in the future.
Certainly. No, happy to plug them in. All right, so this kind of everything on this first page was either temporarily on hold or kind of just slowly moving forward just based on communications. And that's why they're at the top. They've been there the longest. If you want to scroll down just a little bit here. So, yeah, that's perfect. So, Kelsey, you just want me to go through them? Is that, or do you want to? Okay. So tap you up. I'll start here unless she notices otherwise. So TAFE legislation ended up passing. The primary change is that the district is required to provide service to those within its boundaries. It doesn't quite define what service means. Our take on it, and discussing with other attorneys who work with water and sanitation districts, is that at the time of inclusion, a lot of times we provide a service contract that says we'll provide you with X amount of water. And then if you go over that, you have to come back and we'll have to negotiate more. Our take is that that is still valid. The district is providing service. It's not a flat denial. And we have a contractual agreement in place stating how much the district is willing to provide. This was more of an issue where the quick background is that there was a development within a metro district where the district essentially set tap fees so high that it wasn't feasible to develop the property, and that was done intentionally to try and stall any sort of future development in the district. So that's why this came about. We don't have any concerns here. We have real good practice in place for tap fees and all that. So that's the only thing to note, that if property is in the district, there is a requirement for service. The right-of-way license agreement, we discussed that earlier. That was the license agreement for the fence. I drafted this before I received the document for the hall agreement, so that's not listed here, but that should be on here as well. Had a couple ICAs, had a non-disclosure agreement for a new contractor that we reviewed, and then Carter and I discussed the kind of the 2023 audit and communications that we had to make.
The NDA that he's referring to, so through our third-party payment processor, we got, some information from a third-party mailer and stuffer, which we use now today. We use TMR Direct, which is the local company. That this company could take over those services, but also do some additional things for us. One, we would no longer have to physically print all bills in the office and then take them to them. They would actually just send them a file and they would do it. They have better deals on postage and labor than what we currently pay. And then the one big thing that I liked a lot was they work with our third-party payment processor on the ability to take the individual PDF bills for each customer and then take that and put it onto your online platform. Because today, if you were to log into your account, you just see balances. You don't actually get to see a PDF. That's a limitation based off Tyler and the current third-party payment processor. So this other party has a workaround that could help do that, and I think that would be big for the community to be able to have that physical bill in their online portal. So we're working with them on providing them specific billing data. That's the reason why we signed an NDA, and that way they can get us a better quote on what those services are gonna look like.
All right, any other questions on these?
All right, I will motion we enter executive session for determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiation under CRS 24640224E, namely the Cherokee Metro District Settlement Agreement, Grandview, IGA, Waterbury inclusion, and follow-up Winsome Water, personnel matters under CRS 246424F, namely salary review of lead inspector. With that motion, we'll take a 5-minute break going into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
I made a motion, so who's second?
Oh, I'll second.
Second by Stacy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Okay, 5-minute break and then we'll be in executive session. We're now back in public session.
Really? Yes.
All right,
Yeah, the order, so.
item 16, items unfinished from previous meeting. None. Item 17, board follow-up on older items. None, okay. Item 18 will be other business, and that will be to take action, the board to take action on some items from executive session. First being the Cherokee Metropolitan District Settlement Agreement has been finished. And so I'll need a motion to approve the settlement agreement.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
I,
Okay. Motion carries on that, and then right of first refusal agreement that goes with the settlement. I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kelsey and
Second.
a second by Sanford. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Motion carries. And the last item will be a salary increase of 7.47% to lead inspector Cody Ritter.
I'll make a motion.
And Stacy, you make a motion to approve that increase.
I'll second.
Second by Kelsey. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we can discuss the CMD settlement since it's approved, for the public, consumption. Woodman Hills, filed arbitration against Cherokee Metro District. It's been, what, a year ago now? Approximately a year ago, for them, violating our intergovernmental agreement. It's been in negotiation and back and forth for a year now, and all parties have agreed to settle it. And in that settlement, we will, the rate will go back to what is a fair market rate, not the, I think it goes to $700 and some dollars a acre foot that's being transported from Tamlin line. And then also they will pay us back for all the overcharges they did in the amount of $1.1 million. That'd be executed within 30 days of everybody signing the agreement. We also had them write into, and that doesn't change our current IGA with them. This is just an addendum to that with the settlement agreement. And we also asked for them, we get first right of refusal on any water that becomes available for purchase, as well as, what was the other item in there that I'm missing?
Just the first right of refusal at the Tamlin tank.
Okay. So that matter will be done, and they're paying our legal fees, correct?
It was like $200,000 and something in legal fees.
So, so it's a good day for Woodman Hills, and it's been a long time. And thank you to our directors and our general counsel and our water council and litigators and board members and everybody else that played a big part in getting that done over the last year. It was nothing more than getting fair treatment between the two parties, and hopefully we can continue to work together in the future. The first right of refusal thing's big. Or as President Trump would say, huge. Huge. Probably the biggest ever.
Hard of the deal.
All right, any other business? All right, can I get a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Stacy.
I'll second.
A second by Kelsey. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, next meeting will be July 24th.
I will see you all then.
Yes, thank you, Sanford. We are adjourned.
You bet.